Welcome back to Squawk Box. A bipartisan bill expected to pass on the Senate floor today to defend our nation's trade secrets. Trade theft costs American companies as much as $480 billion a year annually. And according to the bill, it's having a chilling effect on business growth and innovation. Joining us more on the bill is Senator Chris Coons. He's a Democrat from Delaware. He's one of the co-sponsors of the bill. For those, thank you for being here. For those uninformed about what this is, explain what the bill does.
Well, a trade secret is something that's critical to a business, but that you defend by keeping secret. So think of the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken or Coca-Cola, customer lists, or the key secrets about how you manufacture something like Kevlar, which if it gets in the hands of your competitor, disadvantages you as a company or an inventor or an investor and advantages your competitor. This is something where good old industrial espionage has been costing American companies hundreds of billions of dollars a year, and where there isn't a uniform federal statute that allows you to seek an injunction to defend it if someone has stolen it and is fleeing, or to seek redress. You have to go to state court and work through 50 different state laws.
Okay, address this. This is the Washington Post. This bill, they say, fails to do anything substantial about the problems of cyber hacking and cyber espionage, and seriously mucks up existing trade secret law, giving trade secret holders new weapons, the trade secret holders new weapons they can use for harassing legitimate activities and stifling competitors. They compare it to SOPA, which was not a popular effort back in 2011.
Obviously, I strongly disagree. It came out of the Judiciary Committee unanimously. It's got 65 co-sponsors in the Senate. We expect it to pass today. We amended the statute, or the bill, in the judiciary hearing process in order to address a number of legitimate concerns raised by other senators, one of them specifically about whether it could be misused to harass departing employees. So I hope the Post will reconsider, but I'll put it this way, I expect it to pass today in the Senate.
Senator Coons, let me ask you, if you have a federal law that's great about making sure that the nation is in one mind of thinking of all these things, but a lot of this is coming from places like Korea, but especially China. What good does a federal law do when we're dealing with thefts coming from other nations?
Well, a federal law gives you access to service of process that's not just nationwide but international, gives you one standard so that if you're drafting a non-disclosure agreement, for example, for the folks who work for your company, you don't have to figure out a slightly different NDA for each of the 8 or 10 or 12 states you work in. It doesn't solve all of the challenges that we face in terms of cyber espionage and hacking. There's other things we can and should be doing to strengthen our nation's defense against that.
I guess that's our biggest question is, what are we doing about China? We'd have to take a much harder line than we have to this point.
It needs to be a higher priority in our diplomatic relations with China. It needs to be something I think we're more aggressive about defending. Every time I've sat with an ambassador from the United States to China to talk about our vulnerability to cyber hacking and the loss to companies of their key secrets, it's a concern, Senator, it's a concern, but it never makes it to the top of the list. There's always more pressing concerns that tend to have to do with military and regional balance of power.
Just put this in context, though. So we had the Sony hacking attack now almost 2 years ago.
Right.
How would have this prevented that? Or how would have how would have it changed the dynamic in terms of our ability to either stop it from happening or to go after the perpetrators?
It would have changed the dynamic in terms of our ability to go after the perpetrators. It wouldn't have changed the dynamic in terms of our ability to stop it. There's lots of other things that we can do, should do, and in some cases are doing federally to strengthen our cyber workforce federally, to strengthen state and local first responders in terms of their ability to deal with cyber hacking, and to share information between the private sector and the public sector, the federal government principally, to make sure that we have real-time machine speed sharing of core information. But this is not trying to solve every problem. It's just trying to solve one problem. To me, the biggest piece of news here is that you've got a Democrat and a Republican, Orrin Hatch of Utah, who's been wonderful to work with on this, diligently working together for several years to craft a responsible, modest, but important step forward in defending America's inventions.
Okay, while you're here, you want to weigh in on the election? I mean, on your side of the election, at least. Should Bernie get out? I assume you're with Hillary, right?
I've endorsed Secretary Clinton.
Yes.
Look, I'm a big fan of Joe Biden. I'm a Delawarean. I was really hoping he would be in this race. I think Secretary Clinton is experienced and seasoned and brings to the table the right kinds of strengths and skills that we need for a very difficult world, for a challenging economy, and I look forward to her winning in the fall.
Who would you like to see as the Republican candidate?
Look, I think we got to leave that to Republican primary voters.
Who will be better for your candidate?
Frankly, obviously, Donald Trump. But he continues.
That's obvious to you?
I think he continues to say and do things that are truly alarming and concerning. As I have had a chance to travel to other parts of the world in the last few months, some of his statements really put foreign leaders in a place of great concern about our path forward. Because of my concerns about the Iran deal, I went and visited the IAEA in Vienna. I went to Israel, and I went to Saudi Arabia and to Turkey. And obviously, the first sentence when you're meeting with a foreign leader of a Muslim country is, honestly, does that man speak for your country? And I think he would raise some significant challenges for us were he to win.
Would break the cycle of appeasement for the last 8 years that we've seen. And the foreign leaders loved President Obama. I wonder why.
It would put us on a new track. I certainly agree with you on that.
Senator Coons, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank
Great
you.
to see you.